I look a little greasy right now, it's because I am. We just went for a walk outside and it's like 1,000 degrees.
Won't nobody love you the way they should. Won't nobody check up on you, make sure you're good. Won't nobody check those body tremors for your neck. All they really
Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park and I'm a part-time reseller on Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, and Kidizen. And I've kind of been saying this for the past few weeks now, but now that it is officially summer and I don't really have any school activities that eat up any of my time because I am a high school choir teacher, I am able to devote a lot more time to my reselling business. And as a result, I have noticed some really great numbers. And last week I was commenting to my husband, I was like, I don't really feel like I'm making any sales. Like I just feel like things have slowed way down. But then when I sat down and calculated my numbers, I was like, oh, it's actually really not that bad. And I think for the month of May, I just went back and did my numbers for that. And I realized I did like $2,700 in net sales, which is unheard of for me. So I don't know, it's just been really great. I feel like I have definitely found my groove. And right now I'm trying to get in the habit of listing at least 20 things and cross-listing like 10 to 15 per day. So I'm trying to amp it up as I have the time to do so. And I'd love to hear from you too. Like now that it's summer, are you changing anything as far as your reselling strategy goes? Are you amping up the number of listings that you do? Or are you just slowing down to take a break because it's the summer and you're allowed to do that? I'd love to hear, so let me know in the comments down below. But in this video, we are going to be talking about what things have been selling for me in the week of June 8th to June 14th. So that's Monday through Sunday. And like I said, I'm going to be sharing with you what sold on Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, and Kidizen, as well as a few direct sales that I had from people watching hauls and things like that. So with that being said, let's get right into it. If you enjoy what sold videos, I will link a what sold playlist down below in the description. And that way you can just binge watch a bunch of what sold videos. I know personally, for me, that's like one of my favorite types of videos to watch on YouTube because I like seeing what other people are picking up and what's selling for them. And then also, if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure that you hit that like button. And if you're brand new to my channel, first of all, hi. And secondly, I'd love if you'd consider subscribing so that you can get some more reseller content just like this week after week. I typically post 2 to 3 videos a week, so there's a lot going on here and I'd love for you to join our community. With that being said, let's get into what sold. So on Monday, June 8th, I had 1 Poshmark sale, 2 eBay sales, 1 Kidizen sale, and 1 direct sale from a haul. So the first thing to sell on Poshmark was this new with tags flamingo and leaf print tasseled kimono. This is a boutique item that I have. I got it wholesale from a friend, and this was the very last one of the SKU. There were a few like pulls, I remember, in the kimono, and I made sure to note that in the listing when it got down to like the final one. So it sold for $20 and I made $16, and I am really happy to get rid of those because I've had them now for over a year, so good riddance. And then on eBay, I sold this hippie laundry crochet olive green off the shoulder tunic in a size medium. This sold via offers to watchers for $9.90. They paid for shipping and I made $8.57. A colleague of mine at work gave that to me for free. We'll just kind of like barter back and forth a little bit. Like she'll come over and try stuff on from my Poshmark closet that she likes, and she'll bring with her stuff that she doesn't wear anymore. So we'll just do like a nice little swap. Most of her stuff isn't like super high end, but it's free, it sells, and you know, I don't mind giving her stuff that has been sitting in my Poshmark closet for a while either. So it's nice to just do a little trade, get some fresh inventory, and that's where this came from. And then the next thing to sell was this new with tags plaid check pattern fringe trim Ruana shoulder wrap scarf. It's a mouthful. So basically it's just like a wrap in a plaid print, and it's perfect for like fall and winter. I think it'd be really cute in the fall with like a nice belt around the waist. This is another boutique item, and I don't understand why, but like I have so many of these and none of them have sold yet. This is the first one, and like I said, I think it's been a year. I probably need to drop the price on them. I just haven't gotten around to it. They don't take up a lot of space, so I don't really have like a sense of urgency to hurry up and move them. I think it's super cute though, and I typically do not model anything that's in my Poshmark closet or eBay store, but this I did model because I just wanted to make sure that people, you know, knew what it looked like on the body. So this sold for my full asking price of $27.99. They paid for shipping. It was promoted at 1% as well, so I made $23.43 on that. And if you like it, I have like 10 more of those or something like that. So feel free to visit my eBay store or Poshmark closet to get your hands on one. And then on Kidizen, I think this was my only Kidizen sale of the week. I sold this pair of Heelys and they were pink and black. They are skating shoes. They're like those ones where you kind of like lean back and then you just skate your way across the hall or across the wherever. They're outlawed in like every single school in the world because they are such a nuisance and kind of dangerous. But these, like I said, were in a size 5 and they sold for $34.95, which was my full asking price. I did pay $10.50 to ship them out because I did use Kidizen's shipping, and so I made $21.02 on those. I did pay less than $2 for those at the consignment store that I have been sourcing from very heavily for the past month and a half. If you don't know that story, I will link to a video right here where I talk about literally my best thrifting experience ever so far in my life. Like, it's been crazy lucrative. And in case you are wondering how much money I've been making off of items that I have thrifted at that place, I've made roughly like $715 in net sales from stuff that I've sold from that one consignment store thus far. That's like me listing, I don't know, like hardly any of it yet. Like, I don't feel like I even have that much listed. I've closed literally everywhere in my house. So it's going to end up being pretty amazing. And I think I've spent close to like $1,350. So we have a lot of money to make and I'm super excited. The next thing to sell also came from that same consignment store. So I have less than $2 into these, but they are Rebecca Minkoff black slide-on shoes with like this, I think it was silver chains on top. I don't remember, but these I sold for $35 shipped to Jessica, and Jessica has bought from me before. So Jessica, thank you so much. She watched my haul video and she saw these and she was like, I have to have those. They are super cute. It was my first time finding Rebecca Minkoff, so I was so excited. And after I paid for shipping, I ended up making $24.14. Again, a little less than $2 into $24. I'm super excited about that. And I didn't even have to go through the, process of listing those items, taking pictures, sharing. That's a win for me. And then on Tuesday, which was the 9th, I had one sale. This was a really sad sale. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is how I felt like the week was going. And that's why I was confused as to how I ended up making a lot of money. But on Tuesday, I had one sale on eBay, and it was this child of mine, Carter's polka dot 100% cotton overalls in a size newborn. I sold them for $7.90. That was the offers to watchers that I sent out. And after they paid for shipping, I made $6.93. I did have that promoted at 6%. And I believe my daughter wore that maybe a couple times when she was younger. And then obviously she's like 7 now. She's almost 7. So we have no use for this. So I went ahead and listed it and it's sold. And then on Wednesday the 10th, I sold this pair of new with tags Teva Original Universal pottery black sandals in a size 13. This sold on Poshmark for $40 and I made $32 on those. I'm so confused because, like I said, these are new with tags. They were in a very neutral color, like for the most part, all black. And I just could not get them to sell. And I don't know if it's because they were such a big size. Like I said, they were a size 13. But man, like I have had these for months. I thought that they would sell really quickly and they just didn't. And they didn't sell for top dollar either. I mean, I think new, they're like $55 or something like that. And I had them listed for $50, but I don't know. I just thought I'd get a little bit more than $40 and I thought I'd sell them faster. So that just goes to show, like, just because some things sell really fast for other people, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have the same experience with that brand or that item. This was something that I picked up retail arbitrage at a local outdoor store in my area. They sell like outdoorsy brands, and it was my first time trying Teva and it just wasn't the best experience. So I don't know. People love Teva. They say it sells really fast. It just wasn't the case for me. And then I did have another direct sale from a haul video, and it was this pair of Franco Barbieri purple faux fur trim boots. They were, I don't know if they're like necessarily knee-high. Maybe they're like mid-calf. They were very unique. I don't think I could pull them off, but they sold to Cynthia, and she said that she's already brainstorming different ways to create outfits with them, so I'm so excited to see what she comes up with. But I sold them to her for $40 shipped, and after shipping, which cost $8.45, I made $31.55 off of those. And like I said, those did come from the consignment store. She saw them in a haul video. So I have another haul video coming out on Friday. Make sure that you check that one out if you are interested in seeing what kind of stuff I got at that consignment store. And that way you get first dibs too. I would definitely hit that bell notification so that you know exactly when that video goes live so that you're one of the first people to watch it. All right, moving on to Thursday the 11th. The first thing that sold was this Hillsong United. They're like a contemporary Christian band, more of like a, not like contemporary Christian music, but like a church worship team, if that makes sense. And it was this black and white concert tour t-shirt in a size medium. This sold for $12. That was the offer sent to me, so I made $9.05. I got that for free from a friend. She was cleaning out her closet. Her sister was cleaning out her closet. And they actually gave me a couple of shirts from Hillsong. So I just wanted to try them out and see if there was a market for them, especially since they were free. And turns out there is. It sold pretty quickly. I only had it listed for like a week or two. The next sale is another direct sale. It came from someone watching a haul video, and it was this pair of Tom's leopard wedges. Tom's leopard print wedges. I sold them to Charlotte. So Charlotte, thank you so much. For $26 shipped, and after shipping, which was $7.75, because I was able to put that in a padded flat rate envelope, I made $18.25. And in case you're wondering how I ship these kinds of items out, I use Pirate Ship, which is a third-party shipping program, shipping company. There's a word for this, shipping whatever. So I use Pirate Ship to ship out most things that people buy from me after watching a haul video or something like that. And then on Mercari, I had one sale, and this was like my literal one Mercari sale of the week. And it was this LuLaRoe American flag Irma shirt. I'm not surprised that this sold when it did. You know, it's almost the 4th of July. That being said, I bought this last year before the 4th of July thinking the same thing. And I was like, oh, someone's going to want this. Even though I've sworn off LuLaRoe, someone's going to want this one because the 4th of July is around the corner. It did not sell last year for the 4th of July, but it did sell this year. So this sold for $18, which was my full asking price. And I actually had them pay for shipping. That's how old this is. It's been on Mercari for a while as well. And I made $16.20. By the way, I think too, like part of the reason why I felt like sales were really slow is because I don't feel like I made a lot of sales on Mercari or eBay. And that's because List Perfectly was down for me. I was not able to cross list from Poshmark to these other platforms for like 4 to 5 days. And you all know I love List Perfectly so much. Like, it has been such a game changer for my reselling business, and I feel like I've been able to grow my numbers exponentially because of their cross-listing software. But this was a rough week, and you know, I reached out to them. They responded to my emails in such a timely manner, but they couldn't quite figure out what was going on for like the first couple days that we were emailing back and forth. I was getting extremely frustrated, but eventually I think they figured out that it was because Poshmark has been making all these changes, and I think they're making some really good changes, but amidst the changes, it kind of messed with their coding, or I don't know why I'm pretending like I know anything about anything technical, but it messed with, you know, List Perfectly's ability to cross-list just from Poshmark over to other platforms. If you were cross-listing from eBay to Poshmark or something like that, that was fine. And the fix was you had to make sure that on Poshmark, when you have the option of, is this new with tags, you had to select something. And typically, if it's not new with tags, I just don't select anything. I don't take the time to select no. So then I had to take the time one day to like go through my entire closet, which has over 800 items, and select yes or no to, you know, everything. And I was like, maybe in doing this, I'll muster up some interest in different things too, because I'm kind of like editing all of those listings. So even though it took forever, and I didn't have to do it for everything because a lot of those things I'd already cross-listed, but I was like, I'll just go ahead and do it right so that in the event I ever need to cross-list something again from whatever, I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and put in if something is new with tags or not on everything. And I was finally able to cross-list again, probably starting like 2 days ago. So I just wanted to share that experience with you because as much as I love List Perfectly, they're not perfect, but I do feel like they did have great customer service. And now that I'm back to cross-listing again, I'm like, like it just feels so good to be able to get these items listed to other platforms in a timely manner. So if you are interested in trying out List Perfectly at all, I'll have a link down below. My coupon code is Becky Park, and by using that, you can save 30% off of your first month using List Perfectly. And like I said, it truly is a game changer. And there are changes that happen every once in a while within the different platforms that will kind of, you know, mess with List Perfectly a little bit, but they're usually really on top of it. It's not something that's in their control. So I appreciate the fact that they're working as fast as they can at all times times to, make sure that their clients have the best experience with them. So now that the Liz Perfectly commercial is over, let's move on to Friday the 12th. The first thing that I sold was a bundle on Poshmark, and it was a pretty good bundle. The first item was this Lulu's purple short sleeve dress in a size medium. I'm not quite sure where I got this. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to say it was from the consignment store, but I don't think that it is. I do think I've had it listed for probably a month or two. So not too long. And if you've watched any of my what sold videos, you know I have a really hard time with Lulu's. So I didn't have a lot of faith in this dress, but it moved pretty quickly, especially for Lulu's. And then the next item was this Jigsaw London taupe scoop neck maxi dress in a size medium. This actually I have had listed since like January. This came to me from Courtney from Common Tags because in the month of January, she was doing reseller swap boxes with different resellers who have YouTube channels. And I did one with her the day after Christmas, and she sent me this dress as one of the items. Most of the other items from that box have sold a long time ago. I don't know what took this one so long to sell because I think it's really cute. I may have had it overpriced just a little bit, but I think also this is the season where people are looking for maxi dresses. So that sold. And then the next item was something that I had in my 4 for $25 sale because there just wasn't much to them. It was just this pair of Russell athletic gray lounge shorts in a size medium. Again, this is something that I got for free from my friend and her sister and her parents who cleaned out their closets very recently. And the last item was also in my 4 for $25 sale. And it was this LA Project distressed pair of like kind of faded black jeans in a size 28. I got those for probably $1.50 at Plato's Closet a few sales ago when they were doing their 90% off clearance sales. So I've definitely had these for a good amount of time as well. I'd probably say like a year to a year and a half. So I was really happy to see those go. And I think, for those, they just were not a brand that I think a lot of people knew. They may have been a Korean brand. I'm not exactly sure. So I'm not surprised that they took that long. I probably wouldn't pick it up again. But that bundle sold for $60. I did offer discounted shipping. So I think that they liked all these items. I put them in a bundle for them and I sent them the offer. Maybe that's how this went down. I don't remember. But I made $45.88 off of all of those items. And then the next thing to sell on Poshmark was this pair of American Eagle classic navy shorts in a size 33. These sold for $15 using my closet clear out method and I made $12. Those I think did come from the theater director at my school when we were running some sort of like garage sale type thing to raise money for theater. So that money's going to go to theater. And I have had those for like close to a year. The next thing to sell did come from the consignment store, and it was this pair of BKE Stella flare jeans in a size 26 short. They sold for $20 and I made $16. If you've been watching my videos, again, you know that I have been selling a lot of BKE brand jeans. This is just a really popular brand in the area that I live in. BKE, Miss Me, Silver, like those three brands I find so much of at my thrift stores and at this consignment store. So I just pick it up because I know I can at least make $20 off of it. Usually I make like 25 to 28, but these I had like probably 83 cents into. So to be able to make $16, that's pretty good. And then the next thing that sold was this new without tags Vince Camuto ruche sleeve blouse in a size small. This sold for $12 using my closet clear out method and I made $9.05. I called this new without tags because it had the TJ Maxx tag on it. I'd gotten it for free from a friend a long time ago and I had it listed for probably close to the price that was on the TJ Maxx tag. But I remember thinking to myself, like, when this sells, I'm just going to take the TJ Maxx tag off, which is why I called it new without tags. But I think I ended up leaving it on when I sent it out to her because it was more than the $12 that she paid for it. And then on eBay, I had one sale and it was a full price sale. It was this loft beige utility skirt in a size 2. It sold for $9.99 and I only had them pay $2 for shipping for some reason. I don't know what was going on there. So after I covered, $1.31 more of shipping to get it out to this person, I made $7.12. But that was something that I received for free a long time ago, like at this point, a year and a half ago. So that's $7.12 of pure profit, but it did take so long to sell, but I'm glad that it's gone now. And then I had one really great bundle sale that we just did on like PayPal, because the majority of the items were things that this person had seen in a haul video. So these went out to Destiny. So Destiny, thank you so much. She has purchased from me before, and I friggin' love her for it because she is a wonderful person and a repeat buyer. But the first two things that she got, actually, I think she got for her mother-in-law. I think that's what she said. But they were both Life is Good t-shirts. The first one was yellow and it had these sandals on it. And I think it said something like relaxing, or I mean, you can see it here. It was really cute. I think it was in a size large. And the second one, I believe, was also in a size large. I'm pretty sure they came from the same person. But it was a Life is Good shirt, and it was blue with like an American flag on it, but instead of stars, there were like flamingos or something like that. And then she also got this pair of Fila leggings, although we realized when she got them, she was like, these are a kid's medium, and I thought that they were women's medium. That's totally my bad. I should have probably looked into it more. So I sent her some money to make up for the fact that she didn't get what she thought she was getting. So those 3 items were actually from the consignment store. So, you know, each of those items I had like 83 cents into. And then 2 items were from Poshmark, and she let me know on Instagram that she had started a bundle and she was interested in everything on the bundle. I just didn't have everything, you know, listed from the haul yet. So we just ended up doing everything via PayPal, which helped her save some money since I didn't have to deal with any platform fees, and I didn't have to like raise prices to account for those things. So she got this Gymboree polka dot dress. It was so cute. I think my daughter wore it like a few times when she was younger, so she got that. And then she also got this Columbia gray workout t-shirt. This is something that I also got from the garage sale for my students when we were doing that theater garage sale. So it's something that I've had in my closet for quite some time. But that bundle I sold to Destiny for $60. I was able to fit all of that, believe it or not, in a padded flat rate envelope. So it cost me $7.75 to ship out, and I ended up making $50.21. Although, like I said, I did send some money back to Destiny to account for those leggings. And then on Saturday, the 13th, I started the day again with a bundle. Actually, I had 2 bundles, and they were great bundles on Poshmark. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. So I feel like I'm just so... You can see the gleam, and it looks like I did a great job with like highlighter or something. No. It's just sweat. Anyway, 13th was a Saturday. First bundle. The first item did come from the consignment store, and it was this Bowden boat neck half sleeve gray t-shirt in a size extra small. At first when I got this, I was like, meh, I feel like, you know, it wasn't really worth picking up, even though I only, you know, paid like 83 cents for it or something like that. But I mean, Bowden is a great brand, and even their basics I think can do decently. And I only had this listed for probably a week or 2. And then the next item is also from the consignment store, also only listed for a week or 2. And it was this Levi's raglan pullover sweater in a size medium in this light gray color, just a really nice basic. The next item is something that I've had in my Poshmark closet for over a year, and it was in my 4 for $25 sale. It's this Uniqlo gray and white striped boat neck shirt in a size small. I had a friend who was moving, and before she was moving to Chicago, she was taking this prolonged trip to Korea first, and she just had all this stuff to get rid of. So she gave it all to me because she knew that, you know, I was a reseller on the side, and I've sold through probably the majority of her stuff at this point, but some of these more basic items that just don't have a lot of value to them, they are still kind of like straggling in my closet. So this finally sold. And then the last shirt in this bundle is also hers, also from my 4 for $25 sale. And it's this brand Deer 72, which is a Korean brand. And it was just this gray crew neck t-shirt in a size small. So this bundle sold for $42, and I made $31.48. The next bundle to sell, this was a good one. And I remember she liked these 3 items, and then I created a bundle for her and I sent her an offer and she accepted. So I was so happy to see that. All 3 of these items were from the consignment store, which is the first time that that's happened with like a bundle since I've started going to that consignment store. So I thought that was really interesting as well. But the first thing I literally only had listed for one day, and it was this pair of soft surroundings, lean line denim stirrup jeggings in a size medium. It's been a long time since I've seen pants with like the little stirrup that goes underneath your foot. And I was like, I have to get these. I mean, especially at like 83 cents. And then the next thing was this pair of Merrell Adventure Vibram them black shoes in a size 8.5. These I paid less than $2 for as part of my shoe haul. That was like the second or third time that I went to the consignment store, and they're like super lightweight, just perfect for outdoor activity. And then the final piece, I thought this was beautiful. It was this J. Crew white tie ribbed sweater in a size medium. This one had like slits on the side, and I don't know, it was just really cozy looking, perfect for the winter. I sent her an offer on this bundle for $95 with discounted shipping, and she accepted, which I feel like it's been a long time since that's happened. And so I made $73.88 off of those 3 items, and I have about maybe $4 into everything. So that feels really good. And then over on eBay, I sold this Champion Gray Duo Dry short sleeve shirt in a size small. This sold via offers to watchers for $6.90. And after they paid for shipping, I made $5.99. It was promoted at 6%. Not too shabby. Not like the best sale of the week, but it could have been a lot worse. And then on Sunday the 14th, I had 3 sales on Poshmark, and they were all a result of closet clear out. So the first thing was this Polo by Ralph Lauren purple polo shirt in a size 4 or 4T. It sold for $12. Someone wanted it for like pictures or something, and I made $9.05. That I just had in my house. I don't know where it came from, but I made $9.05 off of it. So there you go. And then the next thing to sell was this pair of Nike black flip-flop ankle strap sandals in a size 6. These, my son wore the crap out of. Like, he wore them so much last year. I picked them up at a children's consignment store that comes to town like twice a year. That's usually where I get most of my kids' clothes, and I go on like half off day because I'm super stingy like that. And I had these listed for $12 in my Poshmark closet because the bottom part of the shoe, where like the thong part of the flip-floppy thing where it like meets the bottom of the shoe, I'm not explaining this very well, but that was like kind of coming out a little bit, and like, I don't know, there was just a pretty big flaw. So I think for Nike sandal type things like this, even for kids, you can actually get a lot more than what I got for mine. But that's, again, like I said, because mine was pretty heavily flawed. So I still ended up making $7.05, which I thought was great for something that my son had worn a whole lot and there was a flaw on it. And then the last thing to sell did come from the consignment store, and it was this Athleta La Viva black cropped ruched pants in a size 6. These sold for $40 using my closet clear out method. They were listed for, I want to say, 2 days, and I made $32 on those. So as you can see, a lot of sales from that consignment store, which I'm so grateful for. I'm definitely focusing on listing that stuff. So probably in future videos, like the majority of the stuff that I sell is probably going to come from there. I've also been sending a ton of stuff to ThredUp from them, and I'm really excited to see how that goes. I'll definitely keep you guys posted, and I think I will have a video coming out soon about at least like one box that I sent into ThredUp, like what kind of stuff I sent to them. And I'll try to also, you know, many months from now, try to do a video letting you know what stuff from that box sold. So how it broke down for the week, on Poshmark, I sold 19 things for a total of $293.44. On eBay, I sold 5 items for $52.04. On Kidizen, I sold those 1 pair of Heelys for a total of $21.02. By the way, I never tell you my gross sales just because who cares, right? Like, nobody cares about your gross sales. Everyone cares about net because that's what actually is going into your bank account. So all of the numbers that I'm telling you right now are the amount going into my bank account. And then on Mercari, I had the one sale for $16.20. And then I had 4 direct sales. Those were sales that were a result of people watching haul videos. And from those 4 direct sales, I made $124.15. And that came out to 30 items, and I made $506.85, which I was surprised by. Like, I was genuinely shocked when I did my numbers. I think I did them like multiple times just to make sure. It just didn't feel like I was selling that much. So, I mean, I'll take it. This week that we're in right now, too, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's super successful yet, although I had one really good sale yesterday that I'm really excited to tell you about next week. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, it feels like I'm not working as hard, but that's probably a good thing, right? Like, it's never a bad thing to not feel like you're overworking yourself and still make a good amount of money. So I'll take it. I would love to hear how sales have been for you. Do you feel like you're feeling the effects of summer slowdown? I feel like I kind of am, but also it's pretty steady. And I think that it's because I'm kind of making up for the fact that maybe people are not, buying as much by listing a lot more. And, that's kind of evening the playing field for me a little bit. But I'd love to hear how sales have been for you. Someone told me in my last video, they're like, summer doesn't officially start until I think it's like June 20th or something like that. So I guess we're not really in summer yet, but being in the month of June, do you feel like you felt any sort of summer slowdown? I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you hit that like button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.